Hello, John.
Ethan.
How are you, my friend?
Pretty good. Just getting up, 5 cups of coffee, and I'm doing a lot of interviews, so, but I'm certainly coffeed up.
Well, yeah, 5 cups will get your day started for sure.
Well, hit the ground running and run straight into a wall, really, but, so far so good.
Yeah. Are you still living in the U.S., so you're not waking up on UK time right now?
Oh, no. I'm on the road. I have no idea where I am. I'm in the Midwest. That's all I know. It could be Iowa.
You know what?
I'm not kidding.
That is most of the Midwest. You just call it Iowa and you're pretty good.
Yeah, well, I like it. It's beautiful. People are great. And, but I live in Santa Monica now. So, I'm on US time. It's just whereabouts in the US. That's the question.
You have to have those, your management post those signs all over that say you are in this city, in this state today.
Well, yeah, honestly, I never ask where I'm going. I never do. It's the most absurd thing. I go to the airport and I have to look at my phone to see where the ticket is going to take me, but I never bother with stuff like that. I just haven't got the time for it. I just get on the plane, arrive, meet the band, and then I know where I am, and I get on with, the gig. But, the travel part, I just shut off. It's how I get through it.
It makes sense. I mean, a guy that travels as much as you do, don't worry about some of those small details until you absolutely have to, because there's already enough happening.
Yeah. I mean, I have a first class ticket, and that's all I need to know. I mean, it's tough enough going through security and all that stuff. I show up, get on the plane, get off the plane, play, and that's my life. That's how I do it.
Speaking of which, this tour run that you are on, it's a weird conflagration of multiple tours. So you're already on tour, and then you get here to Florida and you hook up with Men at Work on Thursday, and then the next day, both of you hook up with Rick Springfield, and all three of you go out for like a month or two.
Yeah, we're out here doing headline dates, and then there's that coming up. We're playing Ruth Eckerd, my favorite gig in America. Great, fantastic acoustics. We're doing that, and then we hit the road with Rick, and it's just I wasn't sure what was going to happen this year. We have a documentary coming out that's been shot on my life. That was kind of big enough news for me to get through that. And they're looking for a distribution deal for that. I have a greatest hits just came out last week called Singles. That's in Target, or you can get a signed copy off johnwaiteworldwide.com. And then we got the EP with Anything, 4 original songs that came out like 2 months ago. And Masters of War, Bob Dylan's masterpiece. All of that came out in the last couple of months, with the documentary looking for a home, just so much going on. I didn't really realize that we'd be out to this extent, but the band is, very happy to be out. We're very happy to have new releases, and the response has been really great. We're surprised at that too. So it's just a case of showing up. I mean, you can fret about it and think, oh God, we got to go drive 500 miles tomorrow or whatever it is, or fly halfway around the world. We're going to Holland at the end of the year for 10 gigs. But, it's great to be busy. It's my job is to be a kind of troubadour, just to go with my band and play wherever we can. And that's my life.
I was listening to the new single, Anything, which obviously is on the Anything EP, and it is definitely a John Waite song. It's got your signature sound, but it takes you back to that 80s, but it's still it's sort of a fresh take on it, but it's reminiscent and new at the same time. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, yeah, I mean, people said that. I guess because I've written it, it's going to sound like whatever you think I am. But if you look back at the career with the Babies and Bad English and the solo stuff, there's always a kind of a style, If somebody from the 80s, had blue hair or sounded like the Police or whatever it is, or all the great bands that came out, that's the 80s. But the Babies were the 70s. We split up in 1980. So I demur, I say, well, okay, if you like the 80s, that's great. But we look at the 70s and then the 90s, which was my most favorite period. That was the most productive for me. Became real singer-songwriter at that point and had the artillery of the Babies songs and Bad English behind me, so I could go out and do anything, really.
Speaking of Bad English, have you guys had any talks of maybe a reunion since you guys broke up a while back, but you had so many huge hits and so many fans?
Yeah, well, me and Neil every so often start emailing each other about doing a record together. We're still thinking about doing that, me and Neil Sean. Neil's a fantastic guitar player, and we had nothing but fun working together. We might do that, but Neil's got a new Journey album out, and I've got like 2 releases out simultaneously, and I'm on the road. So I think if it was going to happen, it would never happen this year. There's just too much going on for both of us. But maybe in the new year.
Yeah, I just saw Neil and Journey on tour with Toto, and I'll be honest, I've seen 1,000 concerts in my radio career, and that was one of the best live shows ever. Was Journey on stage? It blew me away. It was amazing.
Is that the one? I mean, who's in the band?
It's the Journey. It's got Neil. It's got Jonathan Cain. Arnel Pineda is the singer now. It's most of the original set. Just with Arnel singing. So, and it was amazing. It was Journey.
Oh, all right. God bless him.
Yeah, it was a good time. You and Joe Ely, which I find this interesting, and I don't necessarily know if you want to get into the gritty details of the lawsuit that you have, but you and Joe Ely have a lawsuit against Universal for copyright stuff. I just found it interesting because Joe Ely is from the town where I started and spent most of my life, Lubbock, Texas, and I was like, how did John Waite and Joe Ely hook up? A guy that were from the same town.
Oh, yeah, no. A lawyer got in touch with me and said, you could get the copyrights back for these albums, and we went to court in New York City and we lost. Universal, they're what they are. It's like the Death Star, you don't really want to spend any time around those people. But it was a nice, he's a great guy, the lawyer. I mean, but it lost. I mean, we went up in front of a judge, and they got us on a technicality, and as they do, lawyers, and they continue to keep the masters of certain albums. It's a cutthroat business, and you think after all these years, it'd say, well, we've made millions out of you. Here's some, but they don't. It's just a rough business. But fortunately, it's only a couple of albums and a couple of, a certain part of my life. And simultaneously, I got all the publishing back from that period. So it was kind of like, you just walk away from stuff like that. I mean, I just haven't got the time to be bothered with those kind of people. I just don't. But Joe Ely, if he gets anything out of it, God bless him. I mean, he's a great talent, and God bless him.
Yeah, I do want to encourage everybody listening right now, when you go to the John Waite concert, buy merch, buy T-shirts. This is how your artists are making money these days, because of record labels that don't want to share in the profits of the songs that they wrote.
Well, it's more than that. I think it's Spotify.
Yeah.
If Spotify plays your songs, or you play Spotify to hear my songs, and they get 1 million spins, as we used to call it, you get like $100. And in the old days, you might get $100,000. You'd be paid for the work you'd done. But now the record business has made a way to doubly make sure that the artist doesn't get paid. I mean, these people are bastards.
Yes, they are.
They always were. And it's just the way it is. But you make a great deal of money on the road. And, que sera. I have my own record label now, and I've bought back a lot of my masters. And there's new stuff coming out all the time. And, if you pay attention and you don't put your name on a contract, you're probably going to do very well. But some of the deals that were made when we were kids have come back to bite us much later in life,
You are going out with Men at Work and Rick Springfield. You've done a lot of tours with a lot of different artists throughout your 40-year career now. Have you been out with the Colin Hay, the guys at Men at Work, or Rick before? Are you out friends?
No. Colin was in and he still is, the Ringo Starr All-Stars, and I did a tour with them about 20 years ago. But no, we've been doing an enormous amount of work with Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Neil's an old friend of mine, and Patty's just wonderful. But we just did a gig with them about 3 days ago. But we've been playing with them, and that's interesting because they really are unbelievably good live, and the songs are really kind of fierce songs, and Neil's just like, what a couple they are, and they just got in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the rhythm section, Chris and Mick, and the whole crew. That's just a great joy to go out and be part of that, because Neil sometimes comes out and plays with us, and it's just great. That's the kind of thing, I wish we were doing more of that, but now we've signed up to do the Rick thing. So we're going to go out and do that. And just, you take it where you can to get to as many people as you can and have as much fun with it as you can and keep smiling, as my dad used to say.
Well, I can't wait to see you guys. I'll be out there to do a little stage intro. Maybe I'll get lucky and bump into you backstage before you hit the stage.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, come back and say hi.
Yeah, I'd love to, John. It was so fun talking to you, my friend. The new song, Anything, is out now. The 4-song EP is out. CD singles spanning your career out in just a couple of weeks. And, of course, look for the documentary on the life and career of John Waite, hopefully coming to a streaming service near us soon. Thank you so much for talking to us today, John. Have a great day, my friend.
And you too. Stay well. God bless. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.